Hi everyone. Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. So, welcome to another video of Chapter 9 Control and Coordination. We began with the second part of the chapter, which is endocrinology. Up till now, we have discussed what are hormones, what is an endocrine system, and what is the mechanism of action of hormone. That is how the hormones can have their action in which manner. So, two types we studied in the previous video, that is through membrane receptors, membrane bound receptors, and through intracellular receptors. Okay. Now, in this video, we will be talking about what are the different major endocrine glands. Okay, and what is their function. Okay, so let's begin. As you see in this representation, these are the different glands which fall under the endocrine system. Repeating myself once again, what is endocrine system? The gland or the tissue will secrete its hormone directly into the blood stream. Exocrine, it will secrete in the duct via duct, whereas endocrine, they will secrete directly into the bloodstream. The blood will carry the hormone and take it wherever it is required. So you have pineal gland, you have pituitary and hypothalamus gland, you have thyroid gland. Over here, you have thymus. The pancreas is also a gland, though pancreas is an organ, but pancreas also secretes hormones like insulin, glucagon. So it also falls under the category of endocrine system as a gland. Then you have adrenal gland, you have testicles, you have ovaries also. Ovary, testicles, again, they are organs, but they also function as gland because they secrete the male and female reproductive hormones, right? This we have discussed in the second chapter, reproduction in human beings in very much detail. Okay, then you have the adrenal glands, pancreas, thymus, and all that. Okay, so let's begin. We are going to take all these glands one by one. Fine. So beginning with the hypothalamus. Now, in the first part of the chapter, we have discussed what is the structure of the hypothalamus. Okay. If you see the diagram over here, this is the hypothalamus. Right? And from the hypothalamus, you have various types of hormones that is secreted. Two major types. The hypothalamus produces hormones are, one is the releasing hormones and the another is the inhibiting hormone. Releasing hormones, inhibiting hormones, we will just clear these terms in a short while. Okay. Uh, all the hormones of the hypothalamus are peptide hormones. This you need to know as an information, as a fact. Okay, all the hormones that are secreted by the hypothalamus will be peptidic in nature. They will not be for steroid, and they are secreted by the neurosecretory cells, so they are called as neurohormones. What is this neurohormones or neurosecretory cells? Means they are under the influence of the brain. Obviously, all the glands are under the influence of the brain. The brain will signal which hormone to secrete, when to secrete, and all that. But hypothalamus, because it is in the brain only, it is a part of the brain only. So they have these special cells which are known as neurosecretory cells, and hence their hormones are known as neurohormones. Okay. And the hormones that are secreted by the hypothalamus are antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. Yes, antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. You need to remember this. Fine. Now, this hypothalamus connects the pituitary gland. Okay. This hypothalamus connects the pituitary gland. You see over here. So, a small pea-sized, pea-shaped gland, which is known as pituitary gland, it is connected to the hypothalamus by this stalk or this dudley. Okay, to the hypothalamus. Yes. Moving to the pituitary gland. As you see in the diagram, the different parts of the brain over here, the hypothalamus, and then you have this pituitary gland. So pituitary gland has two pouches, you can say, the front lobe and the back lobe, the anterior lobe and the back lobe. Both of them have different role, different function. Anterior lobe secretes a certain sets of hormones and the posterior lobe secretes a certain sets of hormones. So anterior pituitary is also known as adenohypophysis. This is also known as adenohypophysis, and this is known as neurohypophysis posterior. Adeno is further divided into two parts, pars distalis and pars intermedia, which we will see in the next slide. Okay, remember this. The hypothalamus, from the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland is hanging with the help of the stalk. It is divided into two lobes. This is known as adenohypophysis. This is known as neurohypophysis. Then the adeno one is further divided into pars distalis and intermedia, which is seen in the next video, the region of the intermedia and distalis portion. In this diagram, we see it in a much more detail. The stalk is known as the infundibulum. The stalk, the dundee through which the pituitary gland is attached to the hypothalamus, is known as infundibulum. Okay, now you see the anterior pituitary. This region is known as the tubularis region. This region, this whole region is known as the distalis region. And the middle portion, which divides the anterior lobe and the posterior lobe, this middle divider is known as intermedium, pars intermedia. Then again, you have the posterior, which is neurohypophysis. This is your neurohypophysis of the pituitary gland. This is the infundibulum, and this is known as pars nervosa. This whole region is known as pars nervosa. Okay, so have a look at the structure of the pituitary gland in detail. One of these information you need to know, you need to memorize these information. Okay, now the anterior pituitary, that is adenohypophysis, and the posterior pituitary neurohypophysis, they secrete all these hormones. Okay, we are going to take this one by one. So you have the growth hormone, prolactin hormone, thyrotropin hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicular stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, lipotropin hormone. So these are the different types of hormones which is secreted by the pituitary. For example, the growth hormone will cause growth of the target tissue. It can be any tissue from head to toe, which have to cause growth in that particular tissue. Prolactin, again, general tissue of any part of the body. Thyrotropin hormone, obviously, their target organ will be what? Thyroid gland. So this hormone will go and activate the thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone, they will go and activate or trigger the adrenal cortex. Okay, the kidneys. The kidneys. Yes. Then the follicular stimulating hormone will go and activate the gonads, male reproductive, female reproductive. And even the luteinizing hormone will go and have an effect on the gonads. B-lipotropin is their function is as such not being confirmed, not being completely discovered. So we will divide the two. We will divide the posterior pituitary hormones, and then we will move to the anterior pituitary hormones. So first, posterior pituitary secretes only ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Now this is releasing hormone. Remember in the first slide I told you what is releasing and inhibiting hormone. So releasing means a certain hormone is released and it will go to the target organ. It will tell the target organ to release another sets of substances and cause a effect. Okay, so releasing, it will have a triggering effect. Okay, the ADH will go and activate the kidney, then the kidney will carry out certain changes and the effect will be seen. Whereas what was the another term that we saw in the first slide? The hypothalamus also secretes inhibitory hormones. Inhibitory, the name itself tells you, it will release certain hormones which will inhibit the production of certain hormones or substances. Inhibit. For example, it will inhibit the kidneys to produce ADH, for example. Okay, so inhibiting means they will stop the production of the hormones by triggering, activating the necessary target gland, and releasing means they will go on activating to release the hormone. So here we are talking about the releasing hormone by the hypothalamus, which is secreted by this part, posterior part, which is known as neurohypophysis. Okay, neurohypophysis. Then the hypothalamus releases this hormone, and this hormone goes and it is stored in the pituitary gland. It is stored in the pituitary gland, and then as and when it is required, it will go and activate the kidneys, the sweat glands, and the circulatory system. What is the function of this anti-diuretic hormone? See, the name itself is telling you. It will have an effect on maintaining the water balance. Means what? If there is too much water, getting secreted out the body, too much of water, then this anti-diuretic hormone will stop its secretion. Whereas if there is very, very less water, which is need to be, it needs to be conserved in the body, then the body will start secreting anti-diuretic hormone. Any which ways we are going to see the details of this hormone in coming topics when we will talk about the kidneys and its hormones. Okay, right now the posterior part of the of the pituitary gland stores the antidiuretic hormone, which is secreted by the hypothalamus, and its target is these structures, and water balance is its main function. Okay. And this is oxytocin. Oxytocin is produced by the posterior part of the pituitary gland. Again, what is the target organ? Female reproductive system. Okay, this helps in triggering uterine contraction during childbirth. This we had discussed in detail in the second chapter, human reproductive system. So if you are not aware of the concept, please check out those videos on regulation of regulation of the regulation of what was that? The labor. Okay. So during the contraction, the oxytocin is released in greater amounts so that the contraction starts of the endometrium, and then the process of childbirth begins. Then moving to the anterior pituitary hormones. So again, the hypothalamus secretes all these hormones which are stored in the pituitary, which are then triggered to the pituitary gland to secrete another sets of hormones. So we will take this one by one. So hypothalamus secretes gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone. So now we are talking about this part. Okay, gonadotropin releasing hormone. This will trigger the pituitary gland to secrete luteinizing hormone. This will trigger the pituitary gland to secrete luteinizing hormone. Luteinizing hormone will go to the reproductive system, and it will stimulate the production of sex organs by the gonads. Sex hormones by the gonads. In case of males, the testosterone and all that. In case of female, estrogen, progesterone and all that hormones. Again, gonadotropin releasing hormone will trigger the pituitary gland to start making follicle stimulating hormone. The pituitary gland will get activated. It will produce follicle stimulating hormone. It will go to the reproductive system, and it will cause the production of sperms and eggs. Okay, so FSH will cause the growth of the ovaries in case of females, and growth of the sperm, the testicles, the development of the testes in case of males. Then thyroid releasing hormone. The hypothalamus releases thyroid releasing hormone. This triggers the pituitary to produce thyroid stimulating hormone. Then this thyroid stimulating hormone will go to the thyroid gland, and then it will activate the thyroid gland to release thyroid hormones, which will then carry out its respective function to regulate metabolism. Main function of the thyroid gland is to regulate metabolism. Okay, anabolic and catabolic activities. Then you have the prolactin releasing hormone. Okay, prolactin releasing hormone by the hypothalamus. It will go and trigger the pituitary to secrete the prolactin hormone. They will go and trigger the mammary glands to do what? To produce milk. So prolactin is majorly involved in production of milk. Then you have growth in inhibiting hormone. Okay, growth hormone releasing hormone. This will do what? This will trigger, this is growth hormone. GHRH is growth hormone releasing hormone. GHRH is growth hormone releasing hormone by the hypothalamus. They will go to the pituitary gland, and then they will trigger the pituitary gland to produce growth hormone. Now, growth hormone will go to the liver, it will go to the bones, to the muscle to do what? To induce growth, to induce the targets to produce insulin-like growth factors, and this will stimulate the growth of the body, growth of the cell, and a higher rate of metabolic activities. Okay, then this is cortisol releasing hormone produced by the hypothalamus. This will cause the pituitary gland to produce adrenocorticotropic hormone. This hormone in turn will go to the adrenal glands on the kidneys. So you have the kidneys which are there, and on the kidneys there are these adrenal hormones. So this hormone will go and trigger the adrenal glands to do what? To produce another sets of substances which will regulate the metabolism, like glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, which will regulate the metabolism and the stress response inside the individual. Okay, so these are the sets of hormones which are produced by the adenohypophysis of the pituitary gland. You have to remember and memorize all these releasing hormones by the hypothalamus. What cause, what is their effect on the pituitary gland? So, for example, gonadotropin releasing hormone causes the pituitary gland to produce luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. They cause the target organ to carry out these functions, like production of the sexual hormones like testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, development of the sperms, development of the eggs, and all that. Okay, so you need to memorize all this. So that's all with respect to all the hormones secreted by the pituitary gland. In the next video, we will be talking about the pineal gland, thyroid gland, and parathyroid gland. Till then, keep revising, make a note of all your doubts, and you can reach out to me. Take care. Thank you. See you all in the next video.